open streets event downtown this weekend on Sunday. So AIM will be there with a tent and part of the festivities. If you've got a little free time to walk through a street fair on Sunday, come to the Lancaster Rec's open streets. That'll be fun to see you all. All right, let's get started. My name is Lisa. I know almost everybody. Paul is new to me today. So let's get started in child's pose. Toes together, knees open, arms forward, and your forehead down to your mat. Hi. Begin by just having a sense of your own breathing. At first, nothing to do about it, but notice how it is. It's not wrong, it's not right, it just is. And from there, start to put the attention on the exhale side of your breath. The exhale side of the breath is a place where you could make a huge difference that impacts everything in your life. Most of us, that exhale is kind of short and shallow. Begin by lengthening your exhale and have a sense or a quality of expanding your breathing. Have it take up more space. And then the attention to the quality of your inhale compared to your exhale. Have them be both equally long. And then the kind of breath we use during our practice is an ujjayi breath. And so it's a breath that's generated in the back of your throat and builds an inner heat. Take a deep breath in, open up your mouth and sigh. Try that a couple of times. Fill up your lungs like you're stretching out and expanding the space, and exhale through your mouth and sigh. That's it. Keep that exhaling in the back of the throat, sighing kind of feeling, and bring a slow, steady, deep, rhythmic quality to your breathing. And inhale for about 3 counts and a pause, and exhale for about 3 counts and a pause. So your breath is something in a vinyasa style of yoga that should be heard and felt. And it's a way that we connect with one another just through our breathing. So not only should you listen for your own breathing, but listen for the breathing in the room and the space around you, with Anne at home and her coming here into our group in the studio. On your next inhale, lift your body up into downward facing dog. So an upside down letter V-shaped body. And you can start bending and straightening your knees to start stretching out your toes, your feet, your calf muscles, the backs of your knees, your thighs. Match your movements to the rhythm of your breathing. Right now, we're just integrating movement and breath. And then as you start to settle in, let your gaze settle to one spot at the back of your mat. This is called your drishti, when you purposefully settle your attention. Then look to the front of your mat, step up to the front of your mat. When you get there, lift up halfway and just stretch from tail to crown as long as you can. And exhale, hang down in ragdoll. You might already feel from your heels, up the back of your legs, your spine, around the crown of your head to your eyebrows, a stretching. Keep on breathing, intending for that area to warm up as you breathe. You're welcome to fold your arms and sway from side to side, whatever it would take to have there be a sense of warming up and waking up in your body. As you get settled into this pose a little more, you might now be able to put some attention on your foundation or your feet. Open them up to be pretty wide, at least hip-width distance and parallel to the sides of your mat. Some of us, opening the heels a little wider is just the thing to make them parallel. Do that and see how that changes the feeling up the back of your legs and in your lower back. Take one more breath here. Exhale, press your feet down into the mat and lift the pit of your belly. Come rolling up to standing until you're standing tall. Then sweep your arms up and overhead. Look up, stretch up, and then bring your hands into prayer position at the center of your chest and pause right here. You can set your gaze on one point across the room. In a moment, we'll chant Om together 3 times. It has the effect of bringing us together in our breathing, again, expanding our exhales, and just making a clearing for us to practice in. Here we go. Take a deep breath in. Inhale, reach up for the ceiling, stretch and look up. Exhale, hands through prayer, fold all the way down to the floor. Then inhale, lift up and make the long flat back and set your gaze. Keep it. Step back to a high plank position. Keep looking at the spot. Lower to the low plank position. Then inhale, straighten your arms. Press the tops of your feet into the mat. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now take 3 breaths. Work together. Inhale and a long, steady exhale. 2 more. Inhale and exhale. Last time, breathe in. On the exhale, bend your knees and look up at your hands, then jump up to your hands. When you get there, halfway lift, forward fold. Start again. Press your feet down, stand up, reach for the ceiling, fold all the way down to the floor. Inhale, lift up halfway, set your gaze, step back, low plank position. Inhale, lift your chest, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now, steady breathing. Have a look at your feet behind you. Set them up wide. Make your feet parallel to the sides of the mat. And one thing you could look for to know if that's happening is your heels. Can you see them? If so, open just your heels a little wider, not your toes. Now take one more breath in. That's exactly it. On the exhale, bend your knees. Jump to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Now flowing. Inhale, look up. Reach up, stretch, fold to the floor as you exhale. Inhale, lift up halfway, hands on the ground, drop into the low plank. All the way into the low. Then upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Breath in, breath out. Set your feet up. That's it. Breath in, spread your hands wide and press your fingertips in the mat. One more time. Breathe in. Exhale, bend your knees, jump to your hands. Halfway lift, fold. Press your feet into the ground, stand, reach as high as you can. Then stretch back, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, drop into the low push-up, right into the low, the bent arms. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. So in downward facing dog, with your hands pressing into the mat, including the knuckle of your pointer finger, next, stretch your hips way back out of your hands. That's it. One more time, breathe in. Exhale, bend your knees, jump to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold, chair pose. Sit back like you're reaching for a chair and stretch your arms. Keep on breathing. Have a look at your feet. If they seem like your toes are turned out, line them up to be parallel and sit a little more deeply. On your next inhale, look up and reach, then fold to the floor. Halfway lift, drop to the low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward and lunge, back foot flat, arms overhead. This is warrior 1. Breathe right here. So take a long stride and back foot flat. Press the back edge of your back foot into the ground and really lunge down until you feel the whole front side of your left leg stretching. One more breath, reach up, hands to the floor, low plank. That's it, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, left side now. Take a long step and step forward. Back foot flat, arms overhead and breathe. You got it. Once you get your arms reaching for the ceiling, bend your front knee until your thigh is parallel to the floor. That's it, Jason. Deep, deep lunge, a little deeper so. You got it. Once you're in the deepest lunge you can, your legs are deep and low and strong. Pull up out of your hips and reach for the ceiling. One more breath, then hands to the floor. Go right into the low push-up. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, and breathe. You might want to take a sigh here if your breath and your heart rate are elevating. One more time, breathe in. Exhale, bend your knees, jump to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold. Chair pose, sit and reach. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Halfway lift, move to the low plank. Exactly right. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward and lunge. Deep lunge, warrior 1. Look up, back foot flat. Then hands to the floor, right to the bent arm, low push-up. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward and lunge. Inhale, look up and reach. Hands down, low push-up. Upward facing dog, that's it. Downward facing dog. Gets a little faster as your heart rate rises. And when we inhale, pause, exhale, and pause, there's room for every movement. Take a breath in. On the exhale, bend your knees. When there's no breath, jump. Then inhale, lift up halfway. Forward fold. Chair pose, sit, reach, fold for the floor. Halfway lift, drop to the low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog on the pause, step your right foot forward. Inhale, look up and reach. Exhale, hands down, low plank, pause. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left foot steps, deep lunge, look up. Hands to the floor, low push up. That's it. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath, open up your mouth and sigh. One more time. Exhale, look forward, jump to your hands. This will be our last sun salutation B. Halfway lift, forward fold. Chair pose, reach, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, drop to the low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, step your right foot forward. Back foot flat, lunge. Inhale, look up and reach. Hands to the floor, low push up. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, left foot step and lunge. Look up, stretch up, hands down, low push up. You got it. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. That's it. Do that again. Take a breath in. Open up your mouth, sigh. Now from here, after this breath, raise your right leg into the air behind you. Stretch it up and back. Bend your knee, bring your heel to your hip. And then flip over so the left hand stays on the mat. It's a little tricky. You got it. Reach for the ceiling. 2 bent knees, 2 flat feet on the floor. Press your feet down and stretch up for the ceiling. Reach. You got it. Push your feet into the ground. Push your left hand into the ground. Reach for the ceiling or overhead. Take 2 more breaths and just let your rib cage expand while you breathe. 1 more. Side plank. Your right hand to the mat. Face the long left side of your mat and stack your body up. You could lift your top leg in the air. You could just be working on 2 straight legs. It could be helpful to stack your feet one in front of the other or one on top of the other. Then press your arm up to the ceiling, look up. 1 more breath. High plank to low plank. Nice. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Take an inhale and a sigh. Then raise your left leg into the air behind you. Bend your knee, heel to your hip, turn your knee open, and then flip. Your right hand stays on the mat. 2 feet to the floor. You got it. Now press your feet and your hand down and lift your hips up to the ceiling. Yep, and maybe reach overhead to the street if you're here in the back row of the studio. Once you get into the biggest stretch, a little bit of deep breathing adds extra stretch. High plank to low plank. That's it. Side plank. Stack it up and turn to the side. You want to really add a little bit of extra spice to the pot on this particular pose? If you're tilted to the side, yes, you can raise the top leg, but you could also hug the bottom knee into your chest. It's a little bit of extra work. Yes, like that. From here, go to the high push-up to the lower push-up. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. You got it. Step your right foot forward for crescent lunge. Different from the warrior, no longer the flat back foot, but stand on the ball of your foot and square your hips to the front of your mat, then lunge down low. We want this whole back reaching side of the body to stretch. Reach up for the ceiling and go back. You got it. Take it longer. Yep. And this back, this forward, and stack your heel. You got it right there. Once your hips are square, there's a different way of balancing. Just lift the pit of your belly. It's part of the foundation of any pose. So imagine the area of the pit of your belly, the front of your pelvis, hugging in and lifting up. Then stretch up. Look up and stretch up and go back. 1 more breath. From here, look forward, bring your hands to prayer position and twist your left elbow to your right knee. Yep, bring your elbow to your knee. Once your elbow's resting there, Fire up your back leg. So straighten the knee, stretch out your spine, like your heel and your head are pulled apart. And then you're welcome to open your arms, reach for the floor and reach for the ceiling. Nice work, Jason. Now stretch across your chest and breathe. That's it. 2 more breaths. Breathe in and fill your lungs. Exhale. 1 more time. Inhale. Stay here. Exhale. Then reach back up to the crescent lunge and set your gaze. Keep your eyes right there. Open your body up for warrior 2. So now your body faces the whole long side of the mat. But your heel and knee and toes of your right leg, all that should point forward. In your back foot, just swing your heel out a little further and get down low in the lunge until both hips are experiencing the pose. And then your body faces the side, but your arms reach out and your eyes look forward. Yeah, so it goes right here. Yep, and then your eyes go to the street. Lunge way down. Yeah, keep bending your knee. Yep, right there. Now stretch your arms apart and tilt for extended side angle. So the secret about any pose is if part of your body's kind of like hanging out, it's harder. So stretch your arms and press your back foot into the ground and reach until your whole torso is stretching. And then all you have to do is a breathing exercise. 2 more times, you just breathe. 1 more time. Then hands go to the floor, high push-up to low push-up. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Let's do the left side. Step forward. Arms overhead. Yep, nice square hips. Then activate your back leg. Like your hamstrings are pushing into the ceiling, just like that. And then keep lifting the pit of your belly up and back. Deep, deep lunge. Lift your chest up to the ceiling. Powerful back leg. It'll help steer the whole back bend. You got a little more up and back, Jason. Just lift. Yes, just like that. 1 more breath. Hands to prayer. Twist. Right elbow to touch your left knee. Yeah, and you stay on the ball of your back foot. You can pick your heel up from the back foot and keep it stacked. Yep. And then stretch your arms open. Bottom arm to the floor, top arm to the ceiling. Just roll all of that open. Now pull your hip to the back, Sue. And that's to hit Charlie, to the back. Find the back. Yeah. 2 more breaths. That's it. 1 more breath. Crescent lunge, reach up. I know you're about to fall. Warrior 2. Face the long right side of your mat. Usually when we get to warrior 2, our stance, our stride is a little short. So once you get down here and you feel like it's pretty good, move your back heel out a little further. Just swing it out so you get this inward point of your toe. And then stretch. You can stretch through the front inner thigh line out to your knee. Pull back the back thigh line to your hip. Just stretch and go a little deeper in your lunge. A little bit deeper. Now stretch your arms apart and keep that. And then tilt. Reach for the floor and reach for the ceiling. You got it. Bend your knee a lot. Even a lot more. And then just be here for 3 more breaths. Nice, Laura. 2 more. 1 more. Take a long exhale. Hands to the floor for chaturanga. That's the name of the low push-up. It's chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take some breaths. Inhale. Open your mouth, sigh, and just clear out. Let your heart rate start to settle down a little more. Your breath pace expand. 1 more breath. Get ready to move. Bend your knees. Jump up to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Chair twist. Sit back like you're in the chair and square up your feet. Then hands to prayer position. Press them strongly together. Keep this stance in your legs and then tilt. Elbow to knee if it'll reach over there. Try not to straighten a knee and lift a hip. Keep your 2 knees equally bending. And breathe. So bend your right knee a little more. And push your left hip back a little more. You got it. Sit down. And breathe. Here, you'll feel it like this. Now give me this knee a little more. Yeah, and yes, like that. Keep pulling this hip back. Yep, sit now. You got it. Breathe 2 more breaths. Twist on the exhales. Last breath. Chest twist toward the ceiling. That's the twist. In your shoulder. Yeah, and this guy goes here. Yeah, like that. Reach up to chair pose. Forward fold. Good. You got the sense of that. Fold all the way down. Feet hip width distance. Hook your big toes and stretch your chest to the floor. This is a chance to recover. If your heart rate is a little high or your breath is a little short, this is a chance to reset. When you're folded in a forward folding pose, it has a soothing quality on your nervous system. So do exhales. So you can put your attention right now on your exhale. That's it. One more breath here. Then we'll do it on the other side. Chair pose. Sit way back. Hands to prayer. Now you'll twist right elbow to left knee. You got it. And twist. So bend your left knee. Yep, bend your left knee more. Right leg comes back. So it takes a while to find your body in space. Here, Charlie, I'll give you this assist. Deep, deep squat, deep lunge. Give this knee forward more. Yeah, and reach your hips to the wall behind you. Yes, like that. 3 more breaths. Twist. So your back right ribs are a space to really feel it. Sit deep, Charlie. On this exhale, twist. Chair pose, reach up. Forward fold. So forward fold, gorilla pose. Feet hip width distance. If you can, put your palms under your hands. And then just move your feet around on your palms and just stretch out the muscles and the bones in your hands. And again, relax. If for some reason you were to be feeling dizzy, you could do this seated. You can put your flat palm under your foot. Okay, here's what's next. It's an inversion. Typically, we go for crow pose. Crow pose is like this. It's a handstand of sorts. Your hands set up wide, and they have to squeeze the mat. A handstand wants to balance here on the middle of your palm, not back here and not up here. But these fine-tune the balance. Knees wide outside of your armpits. Squeeze the floor and tilt into that knuckle of your palm and pick your feet up. A little tricky when you have skin on skin. So when you're in your shorts, your knees are against your arms, that can be a little slippery, and yet your core strength can still manage that. Take one more breath, then move right from here into the low push-up. Chest forward, feet back. Yep. Upward facing dog. It was really good. Downward facing dog. Good. Downward facing dog and breathe. Take another breath. Exhale and look forward and come on up to the front of your mat. Once you're there, take a halfway lift and just get stretched out all the way through the sides of your body. Can't underestimate how stretching these sides makes a huge difference in how your back feels and how you can breathe. And fold down. Take your time, take 3 breaths, press your feet into the ground and lift the pit of your belly and roll up to standing. Let each one of your vertebrae stack on top of the one beneath it. Still you're standing tall, arms overhead. Eagle pose is next. Swing your right arm under your left. So the right arm goes under the left. Cross your forearms, and if they will, palms together. Not everybody's will. Yeah, this is good. You can also hug your shoulders, but you really want to get your elbows wrapped. That's good. Squat and bring your right leg over your left and see if your toes will tuck. Many won't, and that's okay. Now what you want to do is squeeze your legs together and pull them down to the ground. And squeeze your arms together and pull them up to the ceiling. You'll feel the back of your lower back of your pelvis stretching, back of your shoulders stretching. Eyes on one spot. Balance comes in time. It comes from the pit of the belly, so hug it into your body. On your next inhale, step out and stretch your arms overhead, and then the left side, left arm under, squat down, left leg over, and eyes on one point. So as much as we squeeze the legs and pull down and squeeze the arms and pull up, it also feels good to press the arms down. You can check and see which feels the best for you. And then step out, stretch your arms overhead. Hug your right knee into your chest and stand tall. You know what? You each have a strap, so grab your strap. You want to hold it so that you have a tail in each hand. Didn't I give you one, Sue? Oh, okay. Hug your knee into your chest, then put the strap around the ball of your foot. Not the arch, but the ball of your foot, and just stand up straight and tall. When I get to the point where your standing foot is standing heel behind the middle toe instead of your toes turned out, and you're not leaning back, but you're standing straight and tall. Set your gaze on one point and take a breath. And then as you exhale, press your heel forward. This knee may stay bent. That's completely fine. Your standing knee could be a little soft. Jason, walk your hands closer to your toes if you can. Yes, so you can stand up straight and tall. So consider your hip to just keep letting this crease at the front of your hip sink deeper and deeper. Your whole pelvis on the right will move back. Don't lock it though, and stand tall. Take the tall instead. You got it. Hands closer to your footlar so you can stand taller. You'll feel tons of stretch in your kicking legs hamstring. You got it. Eyes on one spot. These straps are throwing you guys off today. Hug your knee into your chest. Take the strap around behind your back and hold on to it so it's about shoulder distance, and press your arms open. Then your right leg will go behind you, chest up high to the ceiling, and then we'll tilt into airplane pose. So what you need to know about airplane pose is the way many of us default is we turn our toes out, our thighs roll out, and we're kind of picking it up to the side. We want to keep it all square, big toe pressing down, big toe pressing back. You can pull your hands apart from on this strap and work with this airplane pose. For every set of toes that are lifted in the air right now, wiggle them and put some attention on them. And imagine that they're pressing into the wall behind you. You got a good one here. Stay with it. Bring your hands around and forward to prayer position. Just stay in the pose. You can drop the strap. Half moon. Your left hand goes on the blocker floor under your left shoulder. Keep this leg really active. If this gets kind of sleepy, you're going to lose your balance. It has to stretch. And this big toe needs to press down. And then just turn and open to the side, maybe reach to the ceiling. Sometimes we try to hold on a little bit to maintain our balance, but really where it is by reaching to the periphery. Wake up your toes and your fingers. Yes, that's it. You got to wiggle those toes and fingers to find them. Forward fold. Grab your strap. Come up to standing. Hug your left knee into your chest. Stand tall. Set your gaze. And then extend your knee. And just deal with what shows up in the back of your leg. So you'll notice day by day you practice, your body changes. Sometimes it reveals new tight spots. It's not always that it opens up. It just shows you new areas to work on. And then that's what there is to do that day. Pit of the belly in and stand up tall. And just keep letting your lifted leg sink back more and more into your pelvis as you keep lifting your chest. You got it. Take the strap around behind your back. The left leg now goes behind you and tilt. So you're just reaching with your hands and your foot. You can keep letting your chest stretch open. In the pose, bring breath. Inhale and exhale. Steady exhale. Do one more here. Keep your eyes on one spot and your attention on one spot. Hands to prayer position. Don't move your attention. Half moon. Right arm down on a block or the floor under your right shoulder. Left leg in the air. Turn your body open to the left and stretch your arms apart. An arm to the floor and an arm to the ceiling. Can you lift the leg a little higher, Charlie? The back leg? No, okay, keep it there. Oh, that's the side. Forward fold and hang. Sway from side to side. Okay, grab your strap again. Come on up to standing. So this will be a back bend, but also for your shoulders. Step through. Heel behind your middle toe if you can, rather than turned out. And bend your back knee and hold the two tail ends of the strap. Set your gaze on one point. Now this is going to be a little bit of a tricky move, but it's amazing for your shoulders. Kick back a little bit. Flip your arms around and bring your elbows into your waist. So you can see my hand slid up on the strap a little bit, but as little as possible. And now I've got my eyes on one spot and my arms kind of have a sense of looking like a letter W. Keep holding on. Don't let the strap slide if you don't have to. A flexed foot will help the strap in the back stay in place. Then bring your elbows out to the corners of the room and just acclimate to this. I can feel tons of stretching in the quads on my right leg. And then hands together if possible. And then kick and drive your hands up as much as you can find. The moving of your arms around gives you a lot of shoulder stretch. Once you're there, just drive your foot and your hands up to the ceiling. You got it. Press up to the ceiling. Keep on pressing. Someday maybe you don't have the strap and you're holding your foot. It's possible. Okay, let's step out and try the other side. So now you step through with your right foot. The strap goes around your left ankle. Bring your elbows to your waist, your hands to the side so you have this W shape. And then your elbows come forward, hands go to prayer. Yep, that's it, Paul. And then just shorter next time. Eyes on one spot. You got it. You'll get the hang of it. So balance isn't the first thing to come, and some days it's not there at all, even if you've been practicing for 20 years. Jason, kick if you can and tilt if there's a little more in there. Yep, that's it. 2 more breaths. Step out, step out. Okay, we'll take tree pose. Stand on your left foot. Bring the sole of your right foot to your left inner thigh or somewhere a little lower. It could be on the floor, could be by your calf muscles. Hands to prayer position. Eyes on one spot and press your palms together. You can stay here breathing and noticing how your whole system settles when you steady your breath, your gaze, and you create a foundation. Right now, your hands just pressing. Switch sides, right foot down, left foot up. This whole section of balancing poses is called equanimity, and it's still physically challenging. Heart rate goes up with all of that balance work. And what we have the opportunity to do is learn to regulate, but at a high level of output. Okay, come on up to the front of your mat. Once you get there, sweep your arms overhead and look up. As you exhale, fold all the way down to the floor. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, low plank. Step or drop into it, the low push-up. Then inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. From here, step your right foot inside of your right hand and turn your back foot flat. Then straighten both legs. Your right hand stays behind your front right ankle, could be on a block. Press your front leg straight. So heel, big toe into the mat, sitting bone away from the mat. Then turn to the left, reach to the ceiling for triangle pose. This is one of my favorites. It stretches a lot of the parts that make your lower back hurt. So look for what works for your body in this pose right now. What are some of the things you could be looking for? Well, creating a long stride. Give yourself more space. Take your feet like a foot longer apart. Everyone, your big toe, press that down into the mat. See if you can notice when you press that, the connection up to your sitting bone. So your leg can hyperextend in your knee joint. Keep it soft, just that much. One more breath. Come on up to standing. Face the long left side of your mat. So if I'm facing the long side of the mat, feet parallel to the short sides, hands to the hips, fold all the way down. Walk your fingertips in front of you. So you're on like spider fingers, your palms arcing to the ceiling. Stretch them as far as they can and then sink your hips back behind your heels so you get from your baby fingers to your hip crease, the most stretch possible. That you would be able to feel it through each one of your ribs, all the way up to your hip crease. Soften these a little and lift your sitting bones. Yeah, keep doing that because this is getting longer. Keep reaching. Yep. Yes, we want to get the flexibility right out of this. Just take your full breaths and see what you can notice as your lungs balloon open. We're creating space in the sides of your ribs. You'll maybe feel it in your armpits, your triceps, your elbows, your forearms. Then walk your hands back toward the center and come on up to standing. Grab your straps since you have them. Turn to face the front of your mat. If this line on the floor represented the center line of my body, I would want my right foot to the right of it, my back foot to the left of it, so there's width. And then I also want there to be length between my 2 feet. And I'll turn and face the front one. And behind me, pull the strap apart. Then lift up high and concentrate from this front foot up to your sitting bone. Your sitting bone being the bottom of your pelvis, those 2 points pulling apart as you fold. You'll feel from the center of your hamstring and then radiating out to the periphery, a stretching. Just work with it. You may just come to the halfway flat back. You may be folding your belly down your thigh, maybe hands spilling overhead even. Find where your body is in the pose today. Yep, even weight between your 2 feet. If you have to soften your front knee or bend it, not a problem. If your back heel has to lift, not a problem. Keep breathing. Bring weight into your front leg. Here's the middle. Your hamstrings, your hips are flexible. Hamstrings could use some stretch. Come out of your joints. And then you'll find this will keep stretching. Keep your legs exactly as you have them. You can bring your arms around front and drop your strap. Twisting triangle. Left hand goes under your left shoulder on a block or the floor. Your right hip, it should keep pulling behind you and your big toe pressing down. And then get as long as you can in your spine and begin to turn to the right. It doesn't matter how far you turn. What matters instead is that you keep the weight even in your feet and you get length in your back left ribs. Bring a little more weight to the back foot, Jason. Shift back. So I want this right hip back here and then long through this back left ribs. You got it. Couple more breaths. One more. Inhale. Really open up on your exhale. Then hands to the floor. Step to downward facing dog. From there, left side triangle. Step your left foot forward inside of your left hand. Long stride. If you have you want to fill up most of the box of your mat, left hand on the ground, and then stretch. I want to get this sitting bone, the bottom of my left side pelvis, pushing back and away from me as much as I can, while this presses down and into the mat. It will create so much length, especially in this inner thigh. Then when I turn to face the side, I also get length in my right lower back. Reach to the ceiling. See if as you reach, you're able to roll your top shoulder even more open. So instead of it falling forward, it just keeps opening and you stretch. Yep, best you can, and breathe into the space. Fill your lungs up on your inhale and settle it out on your exhale. Watch the breath 2 more times. Good, you have 1 more. Come on up to standing, grab your strap. Turn and face the long right side of your mat. Check out your feet, so parallel to the short sides, not toes turning out. The strap goes behind you. Wide, but not so wide that your hands are going to come overhead and like jump rope. You don't want it quite that wide so that you can be pulling apart, chest up high, and then just fold and spill your hands overhead. We're doing a lot of folding in these next moments of this strap being behind you. So work with how wide your hands are. Discover all the different areas of your shoulders and back that get stretched from this. Still getting length through each one of your ribs and space here as you breathe. Keep the strap, come up to standing. Turn to face the front of your mat, standing single leg forward fold. Chest up high, fold over your front leg, and let your arms spill overhead here. And breathe. Yep. Left hip, just pull it to the back of your space. So if you have a look, right here at the front foot, the front toe, big toes, knuckle, it just keeps pressing down. Even the inside of the front heel just keeps pressing down. And then the sitting bone right here, that lifts up and back. So these 2 points go opposite and all that space stretches. In turn, all this space stretches, back, left ribs. So keep your setup now. Hands come down in front of you. You can drop the strap. Right hand on the block or floor under your right shoulder. Keep this hip pulling back. Yeah, pulling back and lengthen. So how far you twist isn't the matter. It's that you get this back right, yes, just like that. Back right ribs length. Perfect. And then once you feel like you've pulled it into its greatest tension, there's greatest impact, just breathe into it. The work isn't building the pose, isn't just being in the pose. It's building the pose and then exploring what's there once you get there for a few breaths. Okay, hands to the floor, downward facing dog. From there, come to a high plank and lower down to your belly on your mat. And since we all have a block, we'll use it. Once you get onto your belly, the block will go right between your ankles long. You can just hug the block. Squeeze it between your ankles and your toes. This can turn under like they did in the push-up and press your heels back. So I often find once I get this set up, I need to stretch this waist that I'm growing in all of these pieces of work. Take your strap behind you, hold it behind, press your hands and heels back to the back of your space, and then stretch your chest and the crown of your head to the front of your space. So your body on the sides, from your ankles all the way up to your armpits, it's as long as it can be. Yep, keep breathing and working like that. So toes turned under like they are in a push-up. And squeeze the block. Yep, yeah, like that. That's it. Body as long as it can be. I saw there was a bruise. Oh, it's on your arm. I don't want to squeeze a bruise. Come on down. Now just shake your hips from side to side, like just little side to side, just letting there be some space. We'll do a second set here. Turn your toes under, hold on to the strap, and stretch. So while the toes are turned under like a push-up, let me turn them this way. Yes. They can just pull back. You can make maximum space from the armpit to the ankle all the way to the side. In the middle, pull the pit of your belly into your body instead of bearing down into your mat. The pit of the belly coming in, it protects your lower back in a back bend, and you're building back bends right now. Okay, come on down. Shake your hips from side to side. We'll take floor bow pose, but with our strap since we have it. Bend your knees and flex your ankles so they're a hook. Then take the strap around behind you and hook both ankles. We don't want the knees to get wide here. Keep these hooks. We did this standing one leg at a time. Now we have two legs. So kick up a little bit. Your hands will slide, elbows into your waist. I want to have a lot of tension on the strap here. Then the elbows can come to the corners of the room and I can get comfortable with this again. Then hands can come together and I'll kick back and I'll kick up. Try to keep your knees kind of close together. This is a little bit of a weird setup, I know at first, but you get the shoulder opening. You got it. Onto your belly. Yep, right there. And flex. Yep, elbows to your waist. Yes, I know it's a weird, that's it, exactly. Now hands together over your head if you can. That's it. And just feel what you feel there. Knees not very wide. Keep on breathing. Maybe the strap's shorter next time and these go up here. Okay, come on out. You can wave your feet from side to side. Don't let that strap get too far away. We're going to do a second set. Same thing, same setup. So you're just on your belly. You've got the strap. Your elbows come out to the W and the strap should feel really tight. Try to keep it tight. Breathe and bring your elbows to the corners. Keep it tight and see if you can bring your hands behind your head. Now try not to let your knees go out to the side. Keep them in close. Bring your elbows forward. You got a little stuck there. Hold on to your strap. And they come here. Yep. Hands together behind your head. Knees not too wide. Good. You guys are getting the hang of it. It'll get different and better each time you try it. Come on down. You can let go of the strap. Put your hands on the floor beside your bottom rib. Upward facing dog. So just lift your chest. Upward facing dog. If you ever come to upward facing dog and it feels really heavy in your lower back, see if you can soften a little bit, shoulders back, and lift your belly more. And if it's still heavy in your lower back, you would take Sphinx pose. Stay here in this upward dog. Can you get stretching from your pubic bone up your belly to your chin? That's all you want from this pose every time you do it. Hands back under your shoulders, walk them back. Yep, so for the pose looks like this ultimately, like you're pulling yourself through your hands. Downward facing dog. Come up and back. From here, we'll take camel pose, so bring your knees to the floor. You can hug the block between your knees. Toes turned under behind you. And then instead of butt, back, belly forward, stand up really tall. You can even put your hands in your back pockets so you can lift taller. And then chest to the ceiling. We want all the length we can get. So without leaning back, but you're just stretching open the front of your body. If there's more space, you could reach to your heels. The heels aren't the goal. Like if it takes losing the alignment to get to the heels, no need to go there. We're looking for stretch from here up to your chin. You could just keep your hands on your hips and be looking up and opening. Do hands right here, like they're in pockets, and lift. Okay, come on up out of this, hands to the floor for downward facing dog, and stretch out. All right, you can jump or crawl through your hands, sit down and roll onto your back for bridge pose. So the camel pose, same shape as the bridge pose. On your back, feet hip width distance, and then you press your feet into the ground and lift your hips to the ceiling. Move your shoulders under your body. You could use your strap under your body and pull your arms apart. So if you have the strap underneath, holding it underneath, you could pull apart or interlace your hands. Yep. So what's happening here is this chance to continue opening the front corners of the chest and the front head of the shoulders. Building strength on the back side of your body. One more breath. Tuck your chin, come on down, and you can fan your knees from side to side. A little massage for your lower back. We'll take a second set. Feet on the floor. Press your feet down. Lift your hips up. Once you get up there, shoulders as far as they'll go under your back. The strap can be a really handy tool. Hold it with either hand, and as you press it apart, you'll be able to move your shoulders back even further. So it's a sense of your arm bones moving to the back side of your body. Bring your right knee into your chest without moving your left foot. Then toes up to the ceiling, press up, and put that foot on the floor. And then your left knee into your chest, press your right foot into the ground, reach up. See if you can balance by your 2 feet pressing in opposite directions. Foot on the floor and come on down. Knees side to side. We'll progress from bridge into wheel, and you could choose to stay in bridge if you'd like. So heels in close to your butt. Press your feet down, lift your hips up into the bridge to start. Once you get into the bridge, hands go on the floor. Now this will feel a little tight and awkward under your shoulders and wide. The stronger your shoulders, the wider your hands. Then press your hands and feet down and see if you can straighten your arms. I know this is an awkward one. 2 blocks can be an amazing tool as your body's, yes, you got it. So hands set wider next time. Yep, that's it, work with that. Okay, come on down, knees side to side. Now, check out how your body is. If there's compression, like your lower back feels like it just got crunched, we want to do the next one differently. We don't want the crunching feeling. Let's set it up again. If you got up there and your hands felt really narrow, really close together, start with them as wide as you can possibly get them. You can press out of the bridge and rest at first on the top of your head on the floor and get your hands set wider and then press up. So press hands and once you get their head there, hands set wide. Do you feel like crunching your back? Let's not do that. Here. Let's not make it worse. This is good for your back, but only if we do it right. There you go. If it hurts your back, then no, but you can press your elbows straight if you have. Come on down, tuck your chin. Knee side to side. Other ways you can do this, if it feels a little tight, let's bring your mat back here next to this wall. Slide your mat back here. We're going to take a third one here. You can always take blocks. Bring your mat to a wall. Place blocks against a wall so they don't slide. Your head goes in between the blocks. You lay on your back, and then your hands go on the blocks. Give that a try. Next wheel pose. Set it up. Press down, rise up. Head all the way in between those 2 blocks. Yep. And the hands set out here. Press down. A little bit better. That wall's not as secure as it should be today. All right, Supta Baddha Konasana on the floor. Soles of your feet together, knees open. So that might be a good way for you to try that. You can always try it on the harder walls in the future. That wall, I can just see it doesn't have its bottom pressed down. Soles of your feet together, knees open. Just rest for a second. And then hug your knees into your chest. Take dead bug pose. You can hold the outer edges of your feet and pull your knees back to your shoulders. Rock from side to side. So this pose, dead bug pose, the rocking side to side, you get this chance for this massage on your lower back or a little bit higher on your back. All right, hug your knees again. After all the chest opening, we go for some exercises that stabilize. So let's just keep it simple. Legs straight up in the air, curl up and reach for your ankles, or in front of you, take a deep breath, and as you exhale, you just curl. Use your exhale to make the curl happen. It'll be a tiny little movement. You could blow out through your mouth. You'll feel how that deepens your abdominal muscles and creates the pulsing. Let's do 10 of these. Go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug your knees. Next one, your legs like scissors. Your right leg can hover over the floor, your left leg to the ceiling. If you look at them, I want to see like my foot looks like it's standing on the ceiling or on the wall. Curl up and reach for your long leg. If you find your lower back arching, soften this knee or rest your heel on the ground. Breathe in and exhale, you just pulse. So just keep pulsing. Ideally, the feet don't turn out. They're straight up and down. You keep pulsing. And from hip to hip, rib to rib, your body is stationary. You're just curling on the plane of forward and back, not all this side to side rocking. Take 5 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug your knees. That's a good one when done right. Switch your legs. So if your right leg was hovering, now it's your left leg. Toes active and curl. You decide if you need to soften your knee and pulse. Hug. Go 10 times. 10, 9, blow out. Just little movements. 8, 7. So just stay curled right up at under your chest at your rib line and keep sinking the abdominals. And hug your knees into your chest. Into your chest. You can rock head to tail 3 times and move through. Actually, let's do this on your back. Rock a few times and stay on your back. And we'll take pigeon pose, but on the back. Once you got a chance to rock a few times and make it feel good on your back, stay on your back, put your right ankle on your left knee and flex your foot. Then reach your right hand through the hole that your legs create there and outside of your left leg. You might hold behind your left thigh or over your left shin and pull your left knee to your left shoulder. You might feel this in your right hip. There could be other areas. The shin, maybe keep it parallel to the floor and the foot active. Feel that in your right hip? Yeah? Good. We always do pigeon facing down, but pigeon is a really nice pose in a lot of different ways. Sitting on a chair, lying on your back. There are many ways that this pose has a nice impact on your lower back and your knees. Switch to the other side. So now, other way. Yep. Yes. Yep. Yep. Get the folded leg, the left leg, in and secure, the ankle resting on the thigh, and flex both feet. So your ankles are active in both feet. You got it. Let's flex this guy. Okay, then legs straight up on to the ceiling. So waterfall pose, you're flat on your back, put your legs right up to the ceiling. From here, if you want to, you can roll your feet overhead for plow pose. But flat on the back, legs in the air is a really great pose, especially with a block under your low back. So this can be an amazing pose for your lower back. Keep the ankles right over the hips, right there. You'll feel a little bit of the low belly kick in. Your hands could rest on your ribs. They could be like a W on the floor. And then this is a pose you could do at home. Amazing for your lower back. Keep bringing these out. Right there. Flex those guys like that. If you're in the waterfall, while you're on your flat back with a block or your back on the floor and your legs straight up in the air, be aware of how the weight of your feet and your shins and your knees and your thighs, that's just sinking down into the back of your pelvis. And in the sinking down, the back of your pelvis starts to let go, soften, broaden. And then if you're in the plow pose, you can, or the shoulder stand, you can come to plow and deaf man's pose. In time, if you start with waterfall for a little while, your lower back opens up. Then another day, try the plow pose, upper back opens up. If you are not on your flat back, come to your flat back, and everyone hug your knees into your chest. You can drop your knees to the left and look to the right. Once you get there, take a breath and a sigh. And then switch sides. And take a breath here with a sigh. Just let your body be easy. Come to the center, hug your knees into your chest, maybe forehead to your knees. Then Shavasana. You can stretch your legs out long and wide. In studio, there's a cool eye towel near your head somewhere. Legs long and wide, arms wide with your palms facing up to the ceiling so that your shoulders can just roll open. Get set up so your body feels supported and comfortable on the floor. Sometimes I tuck my block behind my head. Just depends on what feels good that day. Once you feel like your body is in a pretty good way, your bones feel pretty settled, take a deep breath in. Exhale through your mouth and just let go. Really let go of holding yourself up. Let go of holding on. And let go of anything that maybe feels even incomplete. Start to deepen your breath. As you breathe, you can wiggle your toes and your fingers. Then hug your knees into your chest. From here, once your knees are into your chest, roll to your side and come on up to a sitting position. Just sit however it feels comfortable for you. Sit up tall, up to sitting. Once you're sitting, you can inhale and reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale and bring your hands into prayer position at the center of your chest. Just take a second with your eyes closed to feel what you feel in your body as a result of the practice. What feels good? What work is there left for another day? What's new and different? And then one more time, we'll chant Om together. So take a deep breath in. Bring your thumb knuckles to the center of your forehead. Inhale and exhale through your mouth. The way we thank one another is to say namaste. Means that the best of me sees that in you and honors that. Thank you. Thank you, Anne, for joining us from home. It's so good to spend this noontime class together with you. I have lots of classes the rest of this week. I was away for a few days, so I'm sure I'll see you as you come back and practice through the rest of the weekend. I know it's Wednesday. It's not really weekend time, but we're sort of slowly folding into that. Yeah. Anyway, on Sunday from 12 to 3 is Open Street downtown. So hopefully we'll see you there for Aim to Empower. All right, laundry is just outside of this room. There's a laundry basket. Any props that are ours, you can leave on the floor over here. And otherwise, I'll see you next time. Good work.
Thanks, Lisa. Thank
How'd
you.
you do? Really good.